Good morning, everybody. Hopefully this stream is coming through. Wait for Twitch to give me some feedback here, and then we can know we're on the right page here. All right, looks like it's working. Awesome. Awesome. So welcome. This is your first time here, Saturday mornings. We normally spend working on a project together, and we've been working on my personal portfolio, and we did all of the design work up to this point. So over here in the done column, you can kind of see all the work that we've done so far. Spent a lot of time kind of thinking about what exactly we wanted to create, and then we spent some time creating it, and we did that mostly in Sketch. I'm actually going to quit Sketch so we have a little bit more processing power, because I put everything into InVision. So this is what we've designed so far. There's a few things that we haven't quite figured out in terms of image assets and stuff like that, and what's going to go here, but that's okay. We're going to figure that out a little later when we get closer to pushing all this content live. So we've got all sorts of pages here: projects, project page, blog posts, Laravel posts, and blog posts. We've got our backend that we're going to try and create here as well, which we're going to start with the backend and work our way towards this front end. So that's conceptually what we're trying to do here. So last time we kind of left off, we were setting up our Laravel project. So I'm going to build this in Laravel. There's going to be a little bit of Vue.js in here, probably not tons. It's mostly going to be a Laravel app. There's not a lot of dynamic features apart from maybe this form that's going to be at the bottom down here. So we'll make sure that's kind of a little bit more Ajax-y. So that'll be a nice Laravel or Vue component. But for the most part, this is a pretty static site. So we're just going to go with our friend PHP. And what was I going to say? And I'm using Tailwind CSS on the front end. So last time we kind of set up our auth. We ripped out Bootstrap, which is always kind of fun. And so now today, and then we also kind of worked on our schema a little bit last time, kind of went through the mockups and just kind of analyzed everything in our mockups that we thought should be data-driven. And so we kind of have a loose schema for ourselves, which is pretty nice. So we're going to hang on to this and keep thinking about it, because this will probably change. But for right now, we'll keep it thinking about it. So today, I definitely want to work on removing the register page in the URLs, because I don't want people registering. There's no the only account system here will be me or anyone I invite to be an author. So it's more of an invitation system, and even that is not going to. Will be me tinkering in the database, not actually creating a command. I might create a command. That would be kind of fun. And then we'll style up the auth pages and clean up the default views, kind of make sure we're all in the same layout template and all that good stuff. And that will probably take us maybe an hour or so. And then we'll start initializing the models based on the schema we have. So that's kind of what I intend to do today. And we'll kind of play it from there. So let's hop into our friend PHP Storm. First thing I want to do is kind of clean up our routes a little bit. And so Laravel does a nice job of showing us the kind of having this little helper here that kind of obfuscates all of the routes, but it's really nice if you're going to use them all. But what we need to do is kind of have them broken out a little bit more. So there's a command in here for routes, I think. Yeah, route list is what I want to see. So that's an alias for PHP Artisan. So PHP Artisan is the command line tool. I just use PA, because if you're tapping it over and over and over again, it gets really long. So I have a little alias there. So we're going to go route list here. And this will tell us what the actual routes are, which is really nice. So now we can kind of go through here and say, okay, I need to get rid of these register routes. So I'm going to need to write those out manually, as opposed to having them set up with that sort of little helper here. So hit the right buttons here. So we'll go through and kind of set all of these up, and then from there we kind of keep on rolling. A little bit annoying. I'm going to have to figure this out a little bit better. We'll go one at a time here, though. So we're starting with this login route. So let's see. Yeah, I'll just duplicate this one. We can kind of roll from there. Okay, so that'll just be login. That is the controller, the auth controller. Login controller at show form. That's cool. And we're going to have to specify that. It's got a name, and the name is login. And so I think that should take care of what we need. So if I ran this list again, oop, something's wrong here. Did I use the wrong slash here? No, I don't think that was it. Oh, maybe I did. That's what's going on. Cool. So that looks like it corresponds to everything we had up here. Nice. So let's clear that out. It's a little tedious, but this is how you go about doing that, making sure you have your routes kind of in order as needed. Okay, so we're gonna need a post route next. There's probably a snippet out there that honestly we could grab. That would actually be, I've done this a few times now, probably worth making. But that's an interesting to do. Maybe I'll think about doing that later. So if you post a login, that's at login. Doesn't have a name. Alrighty. We do post to logout. And maybe we could use route groups here, but I think for this, it doesn't really matter. I'll use that a little bit later. Definitely really important to keep the name though, because you a lot of the default internals rely upon those names, and so if you got rid of them, it would be really hard to kind of refactor a lot of things that start breaking on you. So just make sure you keep that in mind. Okay, so we've got sort of our first few routes there. Now we've got this password email reset. How's the mic today? I tried to fix it. I think it's working, but I spent a little bit of time trying to configure what was going on there. I think I had, unbeknownst to me, like 2 input settings and of the same microphone, so it was just kind of echoing, and that's what was going on there. The OBS config settings weren't super obvious, so hopefully that is fixed for everybody and it's not a terrible experience to listen to me anymore. Get rid of this, and if it's still happening, let me know, because in my mind I fixed it. So alrighty, so that was password email, and then we have a get request. Do password reset. And that's just password.request. And same controller, but it's a different method. So the convention here is we have the controller, which is a separate file or class, and then this @ is indicating the actual method within that class. So if we, that's probably a little, we don't need to look at that just yet, but that's what's going on. When we start looking at controllers, you'll probably get the picture a little bit more. Okay, post reset. All right, it's password.update. And that's the reset password, so we change passwords or controllers here. So you gotta keep that in mind. And last but not least, we've got this last one, which is a get request. And we've got ourselves a little token here for authentication purposes. And all right, that's password.reset. Nice. And there we go. Grab this last little guy here. And then if we get rid of routes, run that again. Okay, so we should be able to see everything else the same, except we have gotten rid of our register routes. So that's going to prevent people from like coming to my admin section and like hitting that endpoint and actually creating an account for themselves and then getting access to the admin. I don't want to deal with that. Other ways we could have done this, but if there are no routes, they can't do it. So that's also a good way to think about it here. I'll leave in the code that allows this to happen, because maybe in the future I do want that, but I'll just take the routes out for now, and that's pretty fine. Alrighty, so what's going on here? So we've got logout, we've got password.email, password.request, password.update, and I think those URLs are all the same. So login, login, logout. That's all good, and let's just make sure all of these are going to the right spots. So we've got login, show login form, at login, at logout. We've got passwords and reset link email, show link request, at reset, show reset form. Looks like the middleware is all there. Awesome. So that was sort of step one here. I'll go ahead and make a little commit. What do we do? We removed register routes. I need to fix that because that's going to get annoying every time, but for now we can leave it. So get status. Yeah. Nice. I actually added a repository to this, so I've got this on GitHub. It's a private repository right now. I'm going to show you guys what I'm doing so you guys could recreate it, but I just don't want somebody to hop in and like steal my source code, because that can happen. It happened the other day, actually. What was the name of this? Dan Petty is a designer on Twitter. He runs the Epicurence design, not meetup. It's like a conference. It's an unconference, right? It's like a nature event and conference. And somebody had taken his entire site design. And he didn't even have a public repo. He just had it out on the web, and somebody literally just changed the text in the copy. So this stuff happens. It's annoying. It's kind of frustrating because I would love to share it with everybody who is interested, but just don't want somebody like trying to pass themselves off as myself or their work off as my work. So it won't be open because of that. All right, so we've done that. Now we just need to get rid of these views. So we have some register views here. And actually, I do want to go back to, where'd they go? That register, show register form. All right, so we just got to check the register controller real fast. So if we go into app, HTTP, controllers, auth, register controller, nice. Here's the validators. All right, we have to actually look at, I think it's here. Oh, there it is, auth.register. Okay. Just want to double check to make sure they're going, which one of these we want to get rid of. I don't know if I want to get rid of it. So, yeah, let's get rid of it. I can always grab this again. There is something to be said for like leaving in some code sometimes that you might want to find in the future. There's also something to be said for making this only the code that matters. So that's kind of where my head's at. I'm going to leave the authentication stuff because that's a little boilerplate and I don't want to have to recreate that in the future. But I think I can grab that view pretty quickly and what shouldn't be a huge issue. And then the other thing to do is go to our, I think it's here, app.blade. Yeah, so it'll be in the nav. So just got to get rid of these. I mean, the nice thing is it checks if it has it, but we'll get rid of this register link. And then I think we have to go to home or maybe welcome again as well. Yeah, get rid of register. And that should have prevented our, yeah, this, so that's gone now. This shouldn't blow up, which is nice. And the login page, we'll also get rid of the login links. That's kind of step 3 in this. We'll clean up those default views a little bit more. But I do want to style that authentication page. So this page, right? These few login pages. I'm not going to make these. I guess we're going to have to do a couple of things at the same time here. So let's look at our layouts page and kind of get a feel for how this is looking. So we're going to have 2 different navs. We're going to have a nav for when we're authenticated and kind of external. And so maybe that makes more sense to have separate layouts. I don't know. There's a couple ways you can approach this and how you want to think about it. So let's kind of rename this. Maybe external. .blade. And I'm just going to get rid of, well, I won't get rid of it. Let's say this. My nav will be different. This is using a lot of Bootstrap, and it's great. Bootstrap's awesome, but not what I want to use. I'm using Tailwind, so kind of have this be the H1. Right now, just kind of scaffold this out really fast. And then on the other side, we're going to have all of our links. Just kind of looking at our mockups here. We just have About Projects blog, so that's all good. Let's just make things. projects, and then blog. Nice. Here, let's just kind of have that go. th1. Huh, that's what should have happened. So if we go to that login page, let's make this layouts.external. We're gonna have to update that in a couple places. So let me look for, yeah. Nice thing about search in PHP Storm is you can come in here and actually like edit the code right there, which is super nice. And actually that home one we don't want. We want that to be .internal. Because that is like after authentication happens, but we'll come back to that. And I think the nice thing about this is we could theoretically, not theoretically, we could split our JavaScript and our CSS and like only serve a backend one on the back end and a front end one on the front end, or like a external internal, which is nice for like load and performance purposes. So that's another advantage of having two separate layout files. So right now though, we're just going to copy paste this kind of a little bit and roll from there. Let's call it internal, and we'll get to that when we need to. Yeah, add that ticket for me. Okay, but for right now, we're over here. We're thinking too far ahead. One thing at a time here. So we've got our nav. Okay, they're using like template helpers for their URLs and stuff. Super useful for me if you're like, especially if you're using named routes or something like that. For right now, though, I don't care. Not that it matters, but I just don't care enough to use that or need that. I don't mind using my actual like routes and hard coding those a little bit more. The rest of the stuff we don't need. We're kind of like hiding the admin side of it, so I will probably just deal with that on my own. And then it'll be the main. Alrighty. Cool. So we've got NB here, which is pretty nice. About projects blog, those are all there. So we'll do some light styling just to kind of get this to a place where we need it. And I think this might be, let's run watch, because we're going to start doing some coding, and this lets us do that hot browser reload, that browser sync stuff, which we set up last time. So that'll be nice for our design. Alrighty, let me grab this and put this back over here, and that's still there. We'll come back to that. Cool. Alrighty, this is all looking pretty good. Go back to our code over here. For the purposes of this, I have everything like in two different sides of the screen and all that stuff. If I was coding this for myself, I would have this on multiple screens. So in terms of workflow, that's what's going on here. But for right now, I'm just doing this for everybody's benefit. So and we'll just call this like, forget what I call my title on my existing site. Let's actually look at that real fast. I want to keep that as similar as possible. So head, got a lot of stuff going on here. All right, so I've kind of moved away from that. So let's just say Nick Basile. Cool. That's gonna just be nice. Nice having the default removed there. So, okay, so we've got this nav here. Let's make this flex. Actually, we don't need to make this one flex, because we have this interior div. Oop, don't want to get rid of it. Flex, and then justify between. Yeah, nice. And we'll add some padding here. So I don't know, something like 4 all around. And we're gonna have to add a little bit of margin in between all of these. So let's do it this way. The only problem with browser sync is it's like hides your work a little too much. Alrighty. And that'll work for now. We'll come back to this. I'll make this a little bit bigger though, just for, yeah, we'll just make it large. And let's say font bold. How about that? Nice. Nice. So it's not our mockup, but it's closer to what we want. And that'll probably end up being an image anyway. It might be text, I don't know, but or an SVG or something like that. I don't know why it's so small. Maybe you want this H1. I always forget if you want your A tag, what the order should be of this sometimes. I think you want your H1 inside the A tag, but that will be something I probably do a little research, a little verification on. Okay, cool. So more or less our navigation. Then we have this whole content section down here. So we'll go back to our login page. A lot of Bootstrap in here, but there's a lot of stuff I want to keep because it deals with validation. So I'm going to have to go ahead and clean this up a whole bunch. But let's just assume. So we're inside of that main tag, and that's not flex or anything like that. So I'm trying to think here what's going to be our best approach here. So let's probably do 2 divs. And we'll just make this flex. And we'll center align everything. And then this will be our card. So class, PG, white, rounded. We'll do shadow on this one. Why not? And then we'll have some content in between. This will probably be the, we'll call it like this. And we'll just add a little padding. This can have an H2. And then we'll have our form here. And we'll grab this guy. Now we can start pulling in our, what's going on down here. We'll add our CSFR field, or CSRF, yeah, I said that right. And now we'll have all of our form fields. So that's not right. Label for email. And some people write email like this. I just like making it one word. I think people know that. And this is for me, so I don't think I really need to specify that much. And I will copy paste this because I want to make sure I grab all the details correctly. Let's see here. So if that input is invalid, we don't have that, so we'll just make the border red. That'll work for us. Alrighty. And other classes we'll do on this, we'll probably do border 1. We'll also have a transparent border until there's an error, which is kind of a hack, but I think that works for us. And then we'll just do like BG gray, maybe like 300, and rounded, and we'll kind of make it, I don't know. That's all. See where that gets us. And if there are any errors, I like putting these in paragraph tags. I don't know. It's not really what they're supposed to be, but I don't think there's an error tag. I have to check my semantic HTML, but I think that makes sense. And we'll just make this text red for now. Cool. So oh, thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. I didn't realize how loud that was going to be in my headphones. And I'm like, man, that startled me, but that's okay. Thank you, though. If you want to scare me, just follow. Okay, password is what we need next. I'm probably just going to do the same thing, copy this over, and then we'll deal with making this consistent as we need to. Alrighty. Step 1 done, and I just want to grab the classes, are really the only thing I care about. Here. We gotta make sure we update this to say password for validation, and that should take care of that. And we'll change that label. That'll be for password. Important to have all of this in here. Good for your accessibility, all those important things, and just for, I think, your users too. It's kind of nice. Be as semantic as possible. We're gonna have this little checkbox here. Alrighty, let me just grab this. Bring it up. We'll just say flex. So they're all kind of inline. I don't care about this class. We'll say margin right, like 3, something like that. Yeah, that's all cool with me. I guess we could put this in a paragraph or a span. Oh, I guess a label makes sense. Yeah, we'll just get rid of this guy for now. We'll probably style this in a minute, but. And then finally, yeah, we'll add this link here if you forgot your password. And we'll have the submit button here as well. I like including forgot your password in the password field. It's like it's meta text, and I normally put it up with a label. But that's come to bite me a few times. So maybe I'll just put it down here, or yeah, we'll put it here. Or an A tag. And for this, because it's a named route, we'll keep the route like this. And then I'll just say forgot password. Not forgot, but forgot password. And we have a button. And I'm not going to do this route check. We should have that. If we don't have that, we've got an issue. So something I'm going to keep around. We'll call this login. And we'll get rid of this. Let me just do some fast classes here. So like px4, py2. Wait, I've got that backwards. py2, px4. Rounded, we'll just see like bg blue 500. Make the text white. Maybe make this 600. I don't know if we overrode the default color scheme yet with our color scheme, so that would be something we could talk about. Yeah, let's see. All right, let's give this whole page a refresh. Yeah, look at this guy coming in, looking pretty good so far. And we got a lot going on. Oh, did I do this right the first time? Okay. Yeah, it doesn't look like we've done anything there. So that's more or less where we're heading with this nice little field. So I think we grabbed everything correctly. So I'm just gonna go ahead and delete. Well, I'll just do one last scan. Good to scan. We've got the header. We've got the routes lined up to the same spot. I copied those over. All right, I feel confident that we're okay. Nice. Look how much cleaner this is. It's smaller. So I think one of the beautiful things about Tailwind is that you get rid of a lot of the HTML that you would need with Bootstrap. And so it's just a little bit cleaner, a little bit simpler. At least to me. Other people might have other opinions about that. Alrighty. So more or less on the right page here. So let's go ahead and add some classes to this guy. And in this external one, do I set the font family anywhere? I don't think so. Do I do that in Tailwind at all? Let's see. I forget how much we configured. It doesn't look like we've configured anything here. And this is new. So in the pre 1.0 version of Tailwind, you it wasn't like this. It was slightly different. So let me go to Tailwind's docs here. And we're on the beta, the 1.0 beta, which is pretty nice. So let me go into configuration here and see what's going on. Okay. Look for Tailwind, root of our file here. This is where we add colors here. All right. Define color palette, font stacks. All right. There's a theme configuration guide. That's what we want right now. Let's go over there. All right, that's nice. We don't really want to extend that. We're kind of replacing at this point. Alrighty. So font family, what did we, I forget all of our values here. I think we're using Montserrat. Let's see, we go into our inspects. No, Quicksand is the font that we're using. Cool. Oop, where'd I go? I don't think we have that, so let's go to Google Fonts. grab that real fast. Customize this. I think we're using just about all of those. I think we're just using those 3 though. So grab the embed link. And where's our SAS? Just make sure we don't have it in here. Yeah, I didn't think we did. So we'll go to external. We have Nunito in here. I don't think we need to keep that. Let's go here. Cool. So now we're in Quicksand. And then in our Tailwind config, we can add our font family. Like so. Under theme. I'll just say Quicksand. In terms of a name, I like saying primary for my fonts, but that's just me. So up to you guys. Like you could say sans here if you wanted to, or something like that, or yeah, sans or serif or whatever. I think that's how the default Tailwind is, but for me that makes sense. Okay, so in our login, I think our whole website is using this, so we'll probably come up to here and just say class equals font Quicksand. And we might actually have to reload this because if you adjust the config, it might just take a reset to get it back to where it needs to be. Alrighty. Come back over here. Let me look at this guy and see what we're working with. Keeps opening over there on me. So computed font family is not coming in. So what's going on here? Oh, because I don't have that. I have primary. There we go. So that's what I was looking for. Okay, cool. So let's keep on working with this a little bit more. Kind of got everything here, but we've got to do a little bit of styling. I think we're gonna have to make all these flex. So one of my favorite things of working with Tailwind is that you can just kind of come over here and just be like, here's my class that I want to add, and we'll just say like flex call. All right, so that's not working where I need the, oh, it's happening in here. Nice. So again, super easy to like kind of figure out things in your browser really quickly. I've noticed a lot of UI developers favoring Tailwind CSS. Yeah, I think it's kind of the new framework on the block for CSS. It's super fun. I'm a big fan of it. I don't know if like I do a lot of UI work and it's just, I don't know. I feel like my speed has 10x. It's got a lot of, I mean, I could talk about Tailwind for hours. So I'm a big fan of using Tailwind because it, unlike other CSS frameworks, it like if you have a Bootstrap site, it looks like a Bootstrap site. Versus with Tailwind, it just gives you access to the building blocks, and you can design it however you want it to look with some sane defaults kind of thing. So that's where my head is with Tailwind. It's got a bunch of other positive benefits as well, but that's kind of my big pro in favor of Tailwind. But lots of other things to consider as well with it. So, alrighty, cool. And so we were going to make this a little bit larger as well. So let's say text, let's say 2XL. Let's try full font bold. Let's say text gray. We'll make it like 900. Yeah, that's looking a lot better. Let me say 3XL. Something like that. Alrighty. So we'll add a class here and be like 2, just a little bit of spacing. Does that change? Yeah, maybe we say MB4. Right, that guy. What's going on here? There's no margin. Oh, do I have it on the wrong div? No. No, I'm on the right element. probably what's going on there. All right, make that block. Maybe that's all we needed to do. No, a little bit more. And we'll also make this larger too, so we'll say like text, not 2x, but large at least. Oh, that's not what I want to do. Yeah. And we'll probably make this text gray, maybe like 800 or 700. Let's try that. A little subtle relative to its parent. Let's say 800. Try 700. Let's go for a little text hierarchy here. We have not like designed this page yet, so that's kind of why I'm doing it in the CSS very quickly. So like we have mockups, but some pages we just haven't designed, and so we're just going to do it on the fly here with our tailwind. I do want to add a min width to this. It's because it looks very small, so let's just say like medium. Maybe XL. Oh, there might not be a medium, might just be min width, right? Did they change that? Let me go look at tailwind here. Width already. They used to, I think, have more of that, but all right, we'll just go ahead and add more of this. So what do we want here? We want like a min width, maybe 400 pixels, something like that. Maybe not that much. We'll say like 300. I think that's fine. And so in our tailwind config, we can just add another one. And what will this be? We'll just kind of call it small. And this can just be 300 pixel. I don't know. We don't really have a scale here or anything. I guess we could do this in percents. We could do a whole bunch of things, but I think this will work for us right now. All right, let's just see if that'll work. All right, so we got to get rid of this. All right, we got to restart it again. When you're kind of like getting into Tailwind and it's like you're still early and you haven't like configured exactly what you want, it takes a few, you probably go back and forth a few times like that. And then you get it up and running. Yeah, there we go. Let's get rid of that for now. I don't think we need a lot of these open. So yeah, medium, so we're gonna say small. Nice. And why is this guy not flexing? And this guy is, oh, all right, we can do that. We'll be consistent. That'll actually help when that comes in. Nice. Looking pretty good so far. Alrighty. This guy we can, nope, that's not what I wanted. I wanted item center. That's probably fine. What else do we want here? I need a little bit more spacing in between all of these. That's too much. So we've got 4 there. Let's roll 2 and see how that works for us. Yeah, I think that looks pretty nice. Need a little spacing on the bottom there. Let's actually make this 4. The text scale, our visual hierarchy is coming in nicely, so we'll, because we've got 2 here, and we're going to use 2 on these as well. for like MT2. Text blue, let's make this blue. Around 600. Nice. And we're gonna want a hover effect on that guy. Hover, text, and let's make it darker. We'll go 700. Now we have a nice little hover effect. Do we add transition? I don't remember if we did that. So that's typically like the first one, like actual class I will code, because Tailwind doesn't have classes by default. So we'll just say transition all 0.2 seconds, ease. I like doing ease and out. So that's, and normally that's my transition small. Where do we go? There we go. Little details, so that makes this just a little smoother as opposed to like this really jarring hover effect. So just something nice. Cool. And then what else do we have here? This remember me section. So we'll throw MB4 on that. That looks okay. Maybe baseline's better than center. Yeah, I think that's what we wanted. Where'd we go? And I'm going to make that the same color and size as the other labels. So there we go. And it's funny, when I'm working with a view component, I'm like totally okay to do that. But for some reason in Blade, I'm like, no, it's got to be a little bit more of an old school setup there. So I think that looks okay. It should work pretty well across the board. We might make this bold. Oop. And we'll add a hover to this as well. I like putting the hover next to like the default state, so that's just me. Some people like to put it at the end, but you do you. We'll just add a transition there as well. It's a little nicer. I do want to get our color scale into here, so that would be something worthwhile. So ours is a little different than the Tailwind defaults, so maybe we'll do that. But for the most part, I mean, this is what we need. Let me just make sure it's responsive enough. Yeah. That looks pretty good. Maybe we'll add the background here. We'll probably make this the full height. As much as possible. I don't want to say screen. I'll make it 100% of the viewport, and then, but then we've got this little gap up here. I don't know. We can get rid of that by going like negative MT 10, 12. I think it goes to 16 next, so let's see if that'll work for us. Kind of hacky, but it works. Makes it look a little nicer. Yeah, more or less. Simple login page. A lot, I think, personally nicer than the default, but for what we need, I'm going to center that button just because I think it'll look a little nicer. And we'll make this block as well. Nice. And I'll actually make this like MB6, just so there's a little bit more separation there. Cool. So what happens if this is gonna, oh, I want to put some padding on this. This is why we practice. These credentials do not match our records, so I thought text red was going to work on that. Oh, that's because I didn't add the. So that used to work, but now we have to do it with a number on it. So that's nice. And we'll also have to do an MT2 there. I just didn't do it here. Cool. And then I will just kind of throw a little, the off chance there's like an issue. Something like this where it like starts extending too far. Just to make sure it kind of stays. It doesn't go all the way to the edge. And what else did I wanted to put some padding in the button. I mean, not the button, the input. Let's just see if the padding 2 works. Alrighty, let's bump it up. No, that's too much. Let's make this 10. What if we made it 12? What if we made it even bigger? 12 is a little too much, but 10 looked good. And just like that. Feeling pretty good here. Alrighty. So now, I think that's the color I want for the input. We go, no, that's like too light. I just want to make sure we're in the right ballpark here. That feels almost too gray. So let's stick to 300. Oh, and this is why this border red didn't work either. What's going on there? Just see. Oh. Input here. Yeah, it's got this on it. Oh, so this border 1 doesn't make any sense. Cool. Just to make sure. Okay. It's because of the focus. Nice. I think that's cool. We can do some stuff with the focus, but I think that's going to be okay. The line height on this is really long or tall, so let me adjust that. That's that. Leading. I want it none. Probably tight. Looks good to me. You never know how big that error is going to be, so don't want it going on and on and on or anything like that. I'll do the same thing for these just in case. And I don't think it'll be an issue, but you never know. Cool. That's more or less what I need for this. Oh, thank you for the... Oh, you're hosting. Awesome. Well, thank you, Serial Plan. I appreciate it. Welcome all those viewers. That's really awesome. Thank you. So yeah, so this is kind of our setup here, kind of for the simple login page. I don't need to center align that or anything. I'm just kind of checking the responsiveness. It's not a super, okay, so that's going to break it. That's good to know. Because the height, okay, so we just want min height. Sometimes I forget about that. There we go. That comes into the menu, but I don't think there are that many screens that are like this short or anything like that. Cool. So that'll fix it. And that looks okay on mobile-ish. This is really just for me, so that's kind of nice. I'm going to probably change this route name to admin, which will be important for me at least, just because I don't want other folks kind of showing up in here. So we'll just change that to admin. And I don't think that's going to break anything because, well, it'll break this. What's going on here? So, oh, because that's clever like that. We just make sure that's changed. Okay, that should be okay then. Just so that way people, I'll just use admin as sort of my namespace there. And if I'm authenticated, I'll just redirect to dashboard or something like that. Cool. All right, so now we've got this last kind of piece of the puzzle here. So let me just clean this up real fast. And then we'll hop over to, so I'll just make a fast commit here. It's a good commit. Styled login page. Where'd that go? Cool. And I don't think we need to run this anymore, but I will come over to our, so we have this like welcome view, which is default. That's going to become landing, but, and it's just more static than the other pages. So I'm just going to copy this guy here. Should probably delete this page first if I wanted to do that. Alrighty, copy, call this welcome. And this will be external. We don't have any of this. Where'd that go? Oh, that was our local host. Of course. That's nice. And we go to, okay, so that's a little more correct, but not exactly what we want. So we'll just say hello to, or h2, and then say hello world. All right, cool. So now we're starting to get there. Pieces of the puzzle are coming together. All right, so git commit. Made welcome. You extend layouts, something like that. I don't know. I like being descriptive with my commit messages. Other folks have different opinions on that. But it's up to you. All right, cool. So I think we've kind of cleaned up all of these pages here. Let's just look at the schema one more time and maybe in relation to the mockups. How are we going to get this to work on the screen here? All right, I think that's going to work for us more or less. There it was. All right, so we've got users. I need to tweak this, but first name, last name, their role. So we'll do a little bit of permissions. That's not required. It's just me trying to future think a little bit more than I have to. If on the off chance, like I do add like a comment system and I want people to have roles or something, that would be a reason for that. Email, of course, for, I guess password will be on this too. Twitter profile, all that good stuff. Posts, so a blog post, let's go look at those. Project. All right, so let's just make sure we've kind of got title and description. And then we've got author, which is here, published on. Okay, we've got a slug, makes sense. Active, inactive. Alrighty, I think that works for us. We had tags as well. That'll just be a name, it'll be a slug because we'll have a page for the tag, whether it's active or inactive. Submissions refer to what's going on here, so we've kind of just got the message and the email, which are fine. And then we've got media, which refer to have down here. And maybe, I don't know, we could do something where like we have a Boolean that's like featured media. That's also something I'm considering with my writing of like featuring writing versus showing everything. Like the blog should show everything, and here should be a collection of my best work, so that could be something we include. I'm just gonna make a comment of that. So like, let's just say, and maybe add a media page. That's another thought I had, but gotta keep these thoughts written down, otherwise you forget them and they go away. So we have a header image. I think I might use Cloudinary for this. I was actually listening to the Adam Wathan's Full Stack Radio, and he was talking about it there. So I was like, that sounds like something worthwhile. I normally use something like just a DigitalOcean droplet. Not a droplet. What am I saying here? They've got image hosting there. So I what's it called? It's not a bucket. That's S3. They've got essentially an equivalent of an S3 bucket that I like to use because it's a little bit easier to configure than an S3 bucket. So that's what I like. But I might switch. Okay, so we kind of got our schema. I'm just going to, instead of done, put this over in like info because I want to keep referring to it. I don't want to have to keep finding it. So now we're going to initialize models for everything and start actually working on this data here. So let me go to, we'll try and do this one at a time. So let's see here. I do want to update this user. So we're going to have a first name. This is the default one, so I'm just going to kind of tweak this first. What do we have here? A role will be something to include as well. And we'll just call this like Twitter username. I'll put that down here so that'll all be fillable. I'll hide those. That's for email verify. I don't think we turned that on, so I don't know why that's here, but that might just be default now. Get rid of these comments, and I do want to add a full name method here, or just a name method, I guess. And we'll just return. I forget concatenation sometimes, the nice way to do concatenation in PHP versus JavaScript. So let's just, I think it's like, no, that's just the old school way. We'll do it like that. That's like a nice way to do it, like in a sentence or in a string itself. And I always forget how to do that in PHP. Okay, just so we have it here like that. Okay, so let me update the underlying database migration. This will be different. Okay, users. Alrighty, so this is first name, last name, role. So we've got email in here and Twitter username. So those are both the same. Cool. So we're just gonna have to remigrate a little bit. I'm actually going to add a seed for this. I don't have a users table seeder, but I can make one. So PA make seeder, right? That's not what I wanted. Yeah. What do they call it? Users table seeder. So we'll make that. And we should update this factory here while we're at it. First name, last name. And do I want to make any of these nullable? Got too many things open and not enough space. Probably this can be nullable. Role should be required. I don't think I want to default that. We'll just actually have that on create. Alrighty then. So on the user, I'll probably add like a, I don't know what my role would be, but I'm blanking on how I add a variable, a constant right now. That's what I'm trying to do. What do I want this to be? I want this to be like, I don't think I need a $sign. I think that's gonna work for me. Ooh, to the Google. It's been a second since I've had to do this. Look at the documentation. Yeah, I got that. Okay, cool. I didn't know if I needed to set the visibility on that or not, but I don't think so. So now, one nice thing we can do in our seeder, where'd that go? Our factory rather, is for the role, we can go like user, say app user, and then we can say admin role like that, which is really nice. And I'm just going to import the class. Pass the same alias. Oh, is it up here? Oh, okay, cool. I guess it did that for us. And then, well, I like adding a Twitter handle in here. Just because it's, I like seeing all the data even if it's nullable, so we'll just make this a word. Nice. And then in our users table, I'll go ahead and kind of spin up actually, that's more for testing. I'm just going to make a user here. Let's see here. What do I want to do? Let's say user create. I want to create myself. And we'll call this the first name. I should definitely put an array in here. That would be helpful. Haven't coded in a while, and so all these little muscle memory details are no longer jumping out like they used to. We'll just throw my email in here. Actually, for this, we'll just say test an example. Password. Ooh. How do we do this again? User factory, they've done it like this. So let's grab that. I guess I could have done it that way. That would make this a little easier. So we could just do factory. App user. You can also do like user class. That's another way to do it. Sometimes I like that better. So just because we have it imported already, why not? And the nice thing, like I don't have to have password in here. It just takes care of it for me. Only takes care of the stuff that I want to see. So the role is taken care of. That email verified is fine. And then password is password. Cool. This works a little bit nicer. So now, I think I've got an alias for this. Okay, what broke? Unknown column, Twitter handle, in field list. Did I call it the wrong thing? Yeah. Classic. This is why we do it this way. Okay, nice. Very nice. So now we've got a way for our users to be set up. So at least set up the way I would expect them to. So if we've done that, we should be able to log in now to our site. So I have to manually go to admin and spell it correct. And so when we do test at example.com, and then we do password. Let's return a, what am I trying to do there? So Laravel.com. I think it's like appends or something like that. Get attribute. Or, yeah, this is what I'm thinking of. Not a mutator. So on our table, we'll just say get name. Alrighty, there I am. So I can log out. Nice. And I guess we can go ahead and make that part of the appends. Because we'll probably want it every time we look for this model, so could say full name too, but I think name just makes more sense. You never know. I like getting the first name and the last name. You never know when you're going to need both of them. I know that's not the most a supportive way to collect that data, but you know, it is a way to do it. Alrighty, so we've got our users table. We've got it seeded, factory. This will be really important for our TDD stuff, so nice to kind of have that in there. And then I think that's everything on that side of the equation. Cool. So I'm about to do git add. Added user model details, something like that. Nice. What's next? Let me make a to-do list over here so that way you can kind of run through them. Command user. What else do we have? Posts, tags, submissions, media. Alrighty, keep the work a little bit more organized. So we've got user done, or I guess that's users technically, but. And media is one of those hard ones, but what are you gonna say? Doesn't really have a good plural. Okay, I'm overthinking that. So we're on to posts now. So I'm going to hop into our scaffolding here and make model posts, and I'm going to add the A tag so it makes like everything we need for it. Got a controller, model factory, awesome. And so I'm not going to worry about the controller stuff. I'm just going to get the data in there now and get the model set up, and that might take us, I don't know, to the end of this. We'll see. See where we're at. Alrighty. So come here, migrations. Sometimes it takes a second. You can like force it to synchronize. There it goes. Alrighty. This will be a little hard because I want to do this with Markdown. Let's just kind of get it working, and then we can review this as needed. So string will be title. Also be a string here. There's like a long text option. Nope, that's not what I want. It wants to be an integer. Author ID. I like sometimes keeping those at the end or up towards the top, maybe for the relationships. Keeping that separate from the data, and then kind of keep my timestamps So this will just be date time. Don't care about the time zone, that's fine. And publish on, I might add like a few things like publish at. So maybe I can have like a scheduling system in here. Ooh, that's not what I wanted. Just another thing to kind of think about. Say long tense text for the content. And we'll say string for the description. And then slug will also be a string. Maybe we'll make that long text as well, just to kind of support if it's really long. And then we'll have a Boolean. Call the status, right? I think that makes more sense. We'll default that to 0, kind of off the bat there. Okay, so I think that's our posts more or less. We added some things, but when you're talking it out, sometimes really helps you to identify maybe some of those more issues that you might not have been thinking about. I forget how to do this. To view. In my old version, I had a way to do this split screen. There we go. I had that like alias, and it was really nice. I'll do that first. All of this should really be fillable, so not super worried about it. Description, slug, status. Let's say published on first. And an author ID like that. Cool. So what else do we need here? We're gonna need some casts for those date times, which we kind of have over on our users table, or model at least. So at least look at that. And publish at. Cool. And then we have our author. And so we will return this has 1, and let's see, author, the foreign key will be the author ID, and we have the users as the model, and then author is what we're calling it, so it's slightly different. So I forget what that logic is. So it has 1-to-1. So let's see. This is it. Oh, okay. That's how we're doing it. So this will be app user. And then the foreign key is author ID. Oop. No, I do not want to do that. Let's put this back over here. And then our foreign key should be author ID. In the case the phone name is automatically assumed to have user ID. Alrighty. And then we can go to our user model and say, oop, that's not what I wanted. Bring this over here. This has many posts. Has many, and then should be. Do we that trailing? No, I didn't think so. App post, or yeah, post. And I forget if we have to specify that there. Yeah, we'll see if it blows up. If it blows up, we'll figure it out from there. Alrighty then. So within our factory, that's a user factory. Got a whole bunch of things to add here. So faker, and we'll just call this like a sentence. There is a way to grab an image. Yeah, ooh. This takes care of that for us. Content. We'll just say like 6. Description. We'll also make that a sentence. Number of words, it's nice to specify. Maybe we'll say 12. Now let's keep that varied. And oh, the slug, I forgot about that. So we're gonna have to set up that logic for ourselves somehow. So what I kind of want to do is just grab the title and slugify it. So lots of different ways we can go about doing this, but I'm gonna, for now, kind of say, like you could do like on create kind of stuff, but is this no longer? It's deprecated here. I thought there was a Laravel helper. Oh, they've changed this. Let's see, who is telemarketer is calling me. Always fun. I thought there was a way. I guess it's all different now. Cool. So we'll roll with that then. And that's from Illuminate. Nice. And then what else do we have here? Status is by default. We'll set it to 1. Oh, that was the other thing I wanted to cast. Set that to a Boolean. And we'll just make this now. Publish that. And here we can go ahead and grab our author ID. I think we can say this factory. That's not right. Someone was talking about this is exact. I think Jeffrey Way was talking about you can do it this way now. You used to have to like write a function, but this should be kosher. Now, so inside of our, I don't think we have a separate seeder for this. We have like a user stable seeder. And we have the, okay. Sometimes, so the problem is I want to have this, I guess I'll make a separate seeder and just run it after the next one. And keep that encapsulated a little bit more. Sometimes it's just nice to write it all in one spot, but it is nice having it separated too. So let me grab the user. Let's put the user first. And we'll just say factory posts. Not what I wanted. And we'll just create, I don't know, let's make 10 of these. And we'll just make sure the author ID is equal to the user ID. Because there really will only be one user, so that's sort of the logic there. Let's see if this will work for us. All right, what blew up? Published at in the field list. Ah, there's just a typo. In the factory, probably. Yep. All right, next thing. Array to string conversion, insert into posts. Let me see if I can. Let's look at the output here. This keeps happening to me. I don't know if Tinker changed or if I just don't have it installed correctly on my machine. Tinker doesn't want to work for me, which is super frustrating because I used it a lot for my workflow. All right, what's this error here? Oh, let me just try and shorten that to 1 and see what happens here, or just say paragraph. Yeah, I think that's what's going on here. Yeah, cool. So I would love to go into Tinker and do this, but it's not working, and I don't want to waste our time debugging that, so I'll figure it out once it gets annoying. But that's kind of frustrating because I do want to test something. I wanted to test our. All right, I'll just do it in here. So in the home controller, okay, that's good there. So let's see. We'll just dd the auth. We'll look at the user, and then we'll get their posts. So let's see if this was set up correctly. So I have to log in again. Yeah, that looks like it's working. Probably do 2 array there. Oop. Oh, I gotta do it like that. So unknown, yeah, I was wondering if I like the idea of using Tailwind instead of Bootstrap, but Tailwind's grid system is convoluted. Thoughts? Thanks for the follow. I don't think it's convoluted. It just uses Flex. It doesn't have grid built into it, so you have to do that. That's on you. Bootstrap does have a grid system out of the box, which is nice, as opposed to you taking the design into your own hands and designing it that way. So it is a little bit more, yeah, I mean, how it's like, oh, yeah, but out of 12, right? So, but that's just using percentages. So like that 1/4, which is 25%, 2/6 is, I don't know if there's a 2/6, maybe 2/5, which would be 40%. Whereas Bootstrap is out of 12. Yeah, I mean they're just 1/3. Thanks. They're just letting you rely upon percentages as opposed to like Bootstrap, which is more of like a column-based grid system. So it's a preferential choice. You can always make a plugin though in Tailwind to set up your own grid, which I've made a few plugins before. They had some of the height default settings that I didn't like, so I changed those. Yeah, it's up to you. Yeah, there's no grid system because the grid should be dependent upon your design and your project, not the framework. So for instance, you might be using an 8-column grid or a 12-column grid or a 16-column grid within your design system. And Bootstrap, like, yes, it provides you with some defaults there, but it doesn't really, it's, again, your site looks like a Bootstrap site. Whereas in Tailwind, you can set that up however you want that to be. So that is sort of it's a different perspective on how you should be treating your CSS. I guess you could think of it that way. Where was I? So I always mix up my keys here, as opposed to, yeah, hopefully that clarifies a little bit more. So Bootstrap is very much like use our grid versus Tailwind, which is like, we don't care what kind of grid system you have, but it's your responsibility to build that within the context of your design system. So it's a little bit more flexible, if that makes sense. What was I saying here? Let's go back to this guy. I always forget which one means. Foreign key means what? Which is probably bad. So foreign key is the one on the element, and then the local key is, right? Sometimes I just swap around until it works. So author, so this is on posts. So I want to look at user. So has related, I think this is what I wanted. So the foreign key is author ID. And then I think here I want to say user ID, author ID. Let's see if that'll play for us. Yeah. There we go. How long have you been using Laravel? I really like it. Eloquent makes things so much easier. Yeah, Laravel is pretty awesome. I've been using it, 3 or 4 years now, so a while. Time is flying with Laravel. So I'm a big fan of it. The Eloquent ORM is really nice as well, and if you want to use SQL, definitely possible if that's your fancy, what you're interested in. So I like both of them though. I think both of them are really great. So let me see here. So we've got one side of the equation, so I just want to try the other way. Let's kind of say app posts. I think the first one to array. Oop. Alrighty. No, do not translate. Plus Latin. Let me just add an eager load or lazy load to this. Not mean for cap blocks to be on. And we'll just call this app. Oh, I guess we just say user here. Oh no, that's what we're not doing. We're saying author. Okay, so here, I guess I have this backwards. Let's try this. Right? That doesn't make sense, but unknown column. So I thought we had that right. Oh, I guess the foreign key is just ID. Yeah, there we go. Cool. So now I feel better about that. Sometimes that just, I don't know, I don't do it all the time, so it just takes a little bit of like, what's going on here for me to wrap my mind around again. Alrighty. So for the most part, we've got our, so eager loading is loading it into the array on the server side versus post author and blade or whatever. Yeah, we're like preloading it, essentially. That's kind of conceptually how you can think about it. So it's available within your HTML, or I guess I should say your client-side code. So git add, git commit, added posts model. We're doing the scaffolding here. It's less exciting. I like scaffolding everything up front, and then I just have everything as opposed to kind of going piecemeal. Definitely two philosophies and approaches there, but I do like to take the second to do my seeders and factories and everything, just because I've been on projects where we haven't had those, and then we got it was terrible. Really came back to bite us, so that was always a little tricky. All right, now we're on to tags. So this will be a many-to-many relationship, which is going to be fun. So we'll figure that out in a second here. Okay, so again, we've got tags. We've got, well, this is a smaller model, so it'll be nice. I'm going to have to scaffold that, though. To PA make model tags, and we want all the information here. Nice. And that was a lot faster. So in our, you plan to use Vue React in this project? I will use a little bit of Vue. So where do we go? Not a lot though. So in our mockups here, it's not a really interactive site. It's pretty static, but there is this form down here, and I want that to be Ajax. So that is going to be Vue, but everything else is pretty static. So we're not really going to be worrying too much about anything Vue related, which is a bummer, but you know, if the project calls for it, that's when to use it. And we're about halfway through our models here, so let's see. So we're going to need a title here. So this will be just a string. And then we're going to need something. That's the wrong guy. A slug. So that'll be like that. And then we'll just call it a Boolean. And this will be our status. And again, we'll default that to false. Oh, I didn't add that on our posts. I wanted to add that cast there. Maybe some mutator. Let's look at this. Pointing to Boolean. Yeah. Cast to Boolean. Okay. So forgot to do that here, but now that we thought about it, we can do it. Nice. And we'll do something very similar over for this page. So we'll go back to tags. We'll have title. We'll have status. What was the last thing we had? Slug, obviously. That's what we were just talking about. Alrighty. And we'll again do cast. And we'll say status to Boolean. I always say Boolean like really French in my head, like bouillon, which is something different. Bouillon is for naked soup, but it is kind of funny. You gotta entertain yourself when you're coding, otherwise you can go a little crazy, which maybe is a double-edged sword there. Let's see here. Alrighty. So we've got our, a lot of thunder today. We've got some thunder here in Austin, which is pretty fun. That'll be like a word. Now we're gonna do the same thing we did before. Nice, that's awesome. I used to live in London, so I've got a soft spot in my heart for the UK. I lived in Switzerland too for a little while, so seen parts of the world, which is pretty fun. All right, so this will just be title. And then this will be slug, and we'll do what we did before. And we'll just import this class. Nice. And status, last guy. And for this, we'll just make it active. I like to freelance in the US, but that seems nearly impossible from a visa standpoint. Yeah, the visa game has gotten very tricky lately, and I think it was hard to begin with, and now it's even trickier. And with Brexit and everything, it's just so much uncertainty out there in the world today. But I don't know. Good luck. I hope you can make it happen. It'd be pretty fun to figure that out. Can you not? I guess you want to be physically in the US and freelancing as opposed to staying in the UK and just having US clients. That could be possible, and then you could just come in on like a little 2-day or not 2-day, but a couple week visa, travel tourist visa, and hang out. I don't know if that's legal or not, but good work. Check with your lawyers. I am not a lawyer. I'm just a developer and designer. And we're building this portfolio. Okay, where are we at? Tags, tag factory. That looks like everything here. We just want to make a tag seeder. Which will be kind of fun to think about here. So seeder tags table seeder. Alrighty, let's start with this. Factory tags. Create. And I don't need to do anything fancy here. Tags don't belong to a user or anything like that. I mean, I guess they theoretically could, but we'll just make 5 tags or something like that. And then in our database header, we've got to do like this. We're gonna have to add some like logic in here to join tags and posts. But before we do that, we're gonna have to set up those relationships. So we're gonna need a post tags table. So we'll make that first. So PA make migration post tags table. I guess we say create. This will be many to many, right? Because we'll have one tag that could have many different blog posts and then one post with many different tags. So make migration. I was like, I didn't think that one was wrong. All right, nice. Oh, that's not what I wanted. So big increments. I don't know what that does now, but this will be our post ID, our post, and then we'll have a tag ID. Nice. Alrighty. Let's go to our models here. I wanted to see, let me just double check. So we have many, too many, nice. Not polymorphic yet. Oh, I just wanted to look at our setup here. This belongs to many. I always forget that. I don't know why. If I'm working on it. And yeah, this is 5.8, and I think they're recommending us to move to big ints for that. So that's probably just in the latest version here. So posts. And this has many posts. And then we'll just do the opposite over on posts. So this will be tags. It says many tags. And that should all be set up. Let me look at that. I haven't seen big ints either. Yeah, so yeah, this looked like it was an issue here. So 5.8 migration subs use the big increments. Any columns using this will not affect any existing code. Foreign key columns must be the same type. Therefore, a column created using increments method cannot run. Oh, interesting. There's something else in there. Let me go over to our database side and see what's going on there. Columns, begins. I think this, I don't remember if Taylor was talking about this, or I think DHH was on Twitter maybe a few months ago because his, whatchamacall, Basecamp was, they had to redo all of their like ID columns because it was, they hadn't anticipated they would grow as large as they ended up growing. And so maybe this is Laravel's way of supporting that out of the box by default. As opposed, so that way your project will never get to that point. You have to do that big refactor. That would be my guess as the impetus behind that, but I don't know off the top of my head. Okay, so we've got to, in our seeder now, trying to create this. So probably easiest to grab all of our tags. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's get them all. And then each, let's go over all of them. So for each I'm sorry. Just tag, then we're going to do function. Right? It's been a second since I've written Laravel, which is, I've written a lot of HTML and Tailwind lately, but Laravel is, sadly, I haven't had a chance to write enough of it. Let me just double check this. There we go. So I'm just almost there. I was right the first time. Cool. Alrighty then. And then I'm just going to get the posts. So it's going to get that. Java.js arrow functions. That would be kind of interesting. Definitely, it probably would be controversial in the PHP world. So it'd be a little tricky to let people, or have people do that. I think we've got to do the thing where, yeah, what's that called? Oh, I forget how to. It's the PHP thing where we have to include variable. There's a spec for it. Ah, thank you. No, this is at the class level. I forget what it's called when you do it inline there. And it's been, oh, there, oh, I'm sorry, I'm thinking of the wrong thing. For, yes, that would make more sense. I don't think it's like that. Is it? No, that's a key. Like goes over here. It's not with. Like with posts or. Because otherwise I don't have access to posts here. How? Anyone in the chat know what I'm trying to do here? I've definitely seen this before. Let me just go into some of the source and it might be in here. Although I will say Taylor and Mohammed are good about not import it. Yes, thank you. Is it import? I think I don't know if it's import. Oh, at the top. So I'm just trying to get this posts into this method, and if you just try and pass it in, it like doesn't recognize the context. Oh yeah, I see. Well, this, yeah, that could be part of it. But this variable into this function, and there's a way to pass it in, and it's not the same as in JavaScript where you can just like post it through. Is it? I don't think so. No, because it's not recognizing this. And I forget what that keyword is, and that's going to be fairly important here. Yeah. Item key posts. Is that really what all it takes? No, so like in JavaScript that's okay, but in PHP you have to you kind of have to do it with a special keyword, and I cannot believe I'm forgetting this. Like function pass. Yeah, let's see. Passing by reference. Is that what I'm trying to do here? Function arguments. Oh boy. Okay, this is what I need. Take input here, add some extra. Alrighty, we'll just do this. Are you sure you can't do that? Pretty sure, because my IDE was telling me that it was not used, so like, now this is saying that it's unused, it's an unused local variable. It's because it's within this collection. So there is a way to include it. I know I've done this before, so I'd have to go look at some old source code. It's like posts like this, with posts, include, that might be it. Implements, that might be it. That might have done it. Expected. I forget. Anyway, we'll just do it like a very inefficient way, and then I will figure out how to do this. Basically, I was just trying to prevent myself from calling this within each of doing this query within all of them. But until I figure out how to do that, I'm gonna have to. That's bad. I can't believe I forgot how to do that. Alrighty. So we can just do it this way for now. And are these not aligned? There we go. Cool. So let's go back to our many-to-many. Will it say here in the collections while we're looking at this? Oh, I think use might have been it. I mean, yes, I think that's it. Thank you. I was going crazy trying to remember that. Use was it. So you have to tell it to use posts. Nice. All right. So now we don't have to worry about that n+1 kind of issue there. I forget if that's n+1 or not, but you know what I'm saying. The kind of just doubling our query work there, or 10xing. No. Yeah, it's n+1. Where are we at here? Now that we figured that out. So many-to-many. Thank you for finding that. I just couldn't remember the name of it, and it was driving me crazy. Okay, so just attach the. We're still gonna have to iterate through all those posts, but we don't have to query for them every single time. Right? Is that? I think there's a way to attach many. Yeah, we can just pass an array. Sync is what I'm thinking of. Alrighty. Tag. Like that? Yeah. And then we'll just say attach. And then this will just be posts. I think find. What's the array method I'm trying to think of here? Let's go back to collections. Keys. Find go. Pluck, that's what I wanted. Pluck, and then let's call it the ID. All right, that should work. Let's see. It took way longer than I wanted to. Alrighty, what's wrong here? Incorrect table definition. There can only be one auto column to find as a key. Oh, interesting. So we can't use that big increments here. Yes, that makes sense. I should have said integer. I guess we use a big integer. Unsigned would technically be even more correct. Okay, so unknown column post ID. What's happening here? Let me see if this is working the way I want it to. Yeah, it's an array. Does attach not select and have an array? Yeah, they also accept arrays. No column post ID in field lists. Does it need to be posts? Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking here. I feel like it shouldn't be, but maybe we can try it again. Oh, of course that's not going to work. Singular makes more sense. Yeah, that's kind of where my head was at, but oh, I guess it does have to be like that. Can I look at my... Oh, I guess I don't have SQL installed on this, but oh, well, I guess it's got to be like that. Alrighty then. So all of those should be having a relationship. That is weird. You would expect that to be singular as opposed to plural like that. Oh well. On the right hand side, does it? Do I have to configure it? Hi, I'm here. What's the stage of the project? I'm trying to teach myself Laravel also, but I'm just at the beginning. Well, welcome. We are really at the beginning stages here. We're just kind of scaffolding out some models. And we've done all of our design work already, so let's take a look at those again. I'm just building my portfolio, so that is what's going on there. And yeah, we're just kind of starting to get this all set up. So very, very early stages here. So all the way on the right. Oh, this guy. Let me see. This will be MySQL. What are my configs? Oh, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Under the top right hand search icon. Yeah. Okay. So let me go to my EMP. See if I can configure this to match. So let's see here. Data source. This will be really nice actually. Alrighty. Oh wait, I didn't do the right one. Right? Where'd it go? Oh, MySQL. There it is. Ran away from me. So the host I think is 127.0.0.1. Database is portfolio. User is root. No password. Apply. Alrighty. It's going to show us what's going on here, or is it not going to work? Let's see. DB name I think I do. Oh, did I just add it? That could very well be the case. Yeah. So let's edit this guy here. Thank you for catching that. I thought that was funny, but I was like, oh, maybe I did do that way. Properties. No, that's not what I wanted. Apply. Alrighty. There we go. Huh. Well, this is pretty neat. So that's our schema here. I've never looked at this before. So if I go over here, will it show me what's in this portfolio? I mean, sorry, I keep saying portfolio. Oh, you click on a schema? So if I click on post? Oh, no way. That's so awesome. Yeah, looks like we're in the right spot here. That's about 50, which makes sense mathematically. Cool. So that worked. That's really nice. Thank you for teaching me that. That's super awesome. There you go. You can have your portfolio, or I mean your databases over there. Nice. Alrighty. I know PHP Storm has like a ton of nice stuff in there. I used to use it a little bit more with my TDD stuff. I might set that back up because it's kind of nice, but I just got into a habit of using my terminal, and I don't know what I was trying to write there, like status of class. So I got in that habit and then didn't want to move away from that. Add a tags model. Make sure I'm doing this the right way. All right, good push. Bulk commits. Yeah, it's kind of, I don't know, they're kind of contained here. So, where are we at? Let's see here. All right, we've got 2 more. That took a little longer than I wanted it to, but we're going slow. We're making sure everything's good. So we've got submissions, and then we've got media, and these don't have any relationships, so they're going to be pretty easy. And this is really fast, so let's go ahead and make that. Nice. Yeah, I've always kind of used, I know PHP Storm has nice setup as well, but I've always just kind of liked doing it for the command line. I've run into situations where, I guess a couple years ago, those resources weren't as robust as they are today. So when I started, it was like, oh, use a command line, and those have probably gotten a lot better since I last looked at them. So should give them another look. All right, so what do we got here? We're gonna need a, let's say like long text for the message, and then a string for their email. And I might need to hash that. I think it's okay for now. Get into the personally identifiable information. That's kind of a scary world to be in. For right now, we'll leave it as is. Probably overkill. Alrighty, what are we saying here? Message. And we've got our email. And I think there's a cast for that. Let me double check. No. I was thinking a password. Get rid of some of these. Alright, we can go ahead and call this guy. And we'll call this our submissions. That's not what I wanted. Wouldn't the better alternative be not to store it, just email it to a box? Yeah, I guess you could do it that way. I was going to have sort of like a CRM type functionality in here, so let me see where to go. Yeah, we're just getting these new contact kind of submissions. I guess it would be just to not store it, but I don't know. I can add that. I guess I should add terms to this website then, but that's just the deal I'm making. So I could also just kind of send it immediately to Slack or something like that, and then it never touches my server. But for right now, we'll scaffold it this way, and then if we want to kind of tweak it, we can think about it. I'm open to changing it. Where do we go here? That's a good idea as well. All right, we're gonna make that. Make Cedar submissions table and Cedar. Nice. Did we make the factory for this yet? No. So we just got a message. Encrypted or pass it on are the best solutions. Yeah, I think those are probably true. I would probably encrypt it on the store. So definitely we don't have to worry about it just yet. But that might actually change how I do this. I might say long text as well, so that it can support a hashed value. Awesome. And we couldn't encrypt it per se. We'd have to hash it. Am I saying that right? No, we would encrypt it. So yeah, we'll figure that out though. So this message, so that'll be faker, and we'll just say it's a sentence for now. And their email. Again, we'll say faker, and then safe email. Nice. So we've got that guy set up. Factory. Yeah, it's really nice. Super, super nice. So we'll think about all that good stuff for sure. Submissions, class, and then we'll create. And let's make like 5 of these. Oh, let's say 10. And then in our database seeder, I think that's already taken care of. So if we run a little refresh here, nice. We can look at our database right here, which is pretty dope. Let's see. There we go. Submissions. Nice. And now we can see everybody here, which is pretty cool. Pretty cool. Alrighty. Let's see. Get status. Alright. And a submissions model. One more model, and then we'll probably call it a day here because it's been 2 hours, and that's a lot of time for me. So let's see here. Our final model is media, so we'll have a header image, title, description, and then a link. And I'll just go ahead and check that off because we're just going to do it. Cool. So inside of our, and I'll just make that factory while we're over there. Sorry, not factory, the seeder. Nice. Alrighty. So this is going to need, what did we say? Header image, title, description, link. We can do that. So this will just be string. This will be long text for the header. What did I say? Image. What did I say on posts? Just want to be that, keep that consistent. I just say image. URL is probably more descriptive, but I think we get what's going on here. For the description. And did I have another one that I wanted? A link, yes. That could also be long text. You never know how long those links are going to be. Yeah, we don't need a slug because that's not going to live on our site. It's just a link out. We might do an active a status one, so we might as well keep that. Cool. Get out of some of these. Alrighty. So go ahead and open up the media model. Where title, header, image, description, link. Cool, and we'll do one more cast. Oh, that's not what we want. So tags. Grab that guy. Nice. And for our media factory, do a sentence. Description will be the same. Header image, we'll call this the, there's a way to grab an image URL. And then status, let's make this 1. Is that everything? I believe so. Link. Is there like a URL? We'll see. All right, that might work for us. We'll see what they come up with. And then last thing to do is that seeder. So let's go ahead and say factory. Media class, let's say level, I think, for those. Create. And just make that consistent. Wrong one. Hit the right button. There we go. There we go. Alrighty. So more or less, this should be our migrations and models and everything else all set up. So we'll check our database. Nice. This will be fun to kind of click on and see where they go, but cool. That's our database. It's nice that it shows you the SQL down there. That's pretty cool. Alrighty, so I'll just go ahead and commit that. So we added our media model. I thought that was incorrect. There we go. Cool. So if we look at our to-do list, what have we done today? We did initialize those models. Oh, I was going to add a user command. Okay, cool. So maybe we'll do that first thing next time. And then TDD, start TDD in the API. Probably good to maybe make a checklist in here of to-dos. So we'll probably go model by model on this one. So it's going to be the easiest way to do this here. Probably start with tags. Maybe not tags, but probably start with posts, and then tags, and then media. Users don't really need it. We have 5 submissions. And we'll see what we want to do with those. We'll save those for last. Nice. So that's kind of our API that we'll have to TD out real fast. It's not going to be externally accessible, so it'll just be on our site. And then we'll do the front end. And that will be the website. Then we can talk all about, I guess there's some other things that I want to think about as like SEO. That's always a fun little wrap up. And then we've kind of got, what else do we have to do? We've got a lot of content writing to get done, but I'm trying to think of, we'll talk about how we deploy it. Probably use Laravel Forge or something like that. And Cloudinary and those kind of things. Image handling is something else we're going to have to talk about. But for the most part, this is the site coming together. Let's see if there's anything else we want to do. Awesome. So that is S3 for images. Probably not. Probably I might use DigitalOcean, has some tools that I like, or Cloudinary. Might use that instead. I just can't stand S3. It's the most confusing thing in the world. So I tried to avoid it as much as possible, even though it is probably the best solution, but their user experience is terrible, so I'd stay away from it for that reason. Awesome, or at least it was the last time I looked at it, which might have been a while ago. Cool. So that was the stream for today. Tune in. I might stream again this weekend. I'm working on another side project, and I'm only working on it when I'm only working on it when I'm streaming, so that's kind of like a more entrepreneurial side project, which is pretty fun. Oh, cool. Yeah, I'll let you know if I need any AWS help. Thank you. I'd appreciate it. What was I going to say here, though? So I'm working on another side project that I'm only doing when I'm streaming. So that is like a race to see who can earn $1,000 in monthly recurring revenue first. We just did some validation testing on Wednesday, and it looks like people are interested in it. So I'm gonna keep working on it. So that's kind of cool. Our next step was building another validation website to see if people were interested in signing up for that. So that's kind of the next step. Awesome. So that might be this weekend. Otherwise, Wednesday afternoon for sure. We might do more portfolio reviews if people have them and want that feedback. Otherwise, we'll do more work on these projects. So tune in then. So Wednesday is at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time or Central Time, whichever way you want to interpret that. And then I'll tweet about any other times that I'm going to be streaming this weekend. Join the Discord below. It should be in the About section on Twitch here, so we'd be happy to have you having conversations about everything we talk about during the stream, just during the week. So enjoy the rest of your weekend. It was really great hanging out and getting some work done on this, and we'll see you next time.